What looked like one of Hollywood's closest celebrity friendships may have changed far more than anyone expected. Just over a year ago, Taylor Swift publicly referred to herself as the godmother of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' daughters in a playful Instagram post tied to the promotion of Deadpool. Today, multiple entertainment outlets are reporting that the relationship has cooled so dramatically that Taylor has reportedly stepped away from that role altogether. If those reports are accurate, the story isn't simply about a friendship ending, it's about how personal relationships become incredibly complicated once they're intertwined with fame, business, and public attention. The friendship between Taylor Swift, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds was never hidden from the public. It became part of their public image. In July 2024, Taylor jokingly referred to Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool character while calling herself the godmother of the couple's children in an Instagram caption. Ryan later reinforced that image during an interview, publicly confirming that Taylor was indeed the godparent to his daughters. Those moments helped cement the idea that their families shared a genuine bond, one that extended well beyond red carpets and social media. One particular comment from Ryan Reynolds also attracted attention. During an interview, he suggested that Taylor's involvement could even influence a film's commercial success. His remark was widely interpreted as recognition of her enormous cultural influence. Whether intended as humor or admiration, it reminded audiences just how valuable Taylor's name has become, not only in music, but across entertainment as a whole. That context matters now because the latest reports paint a very different picture. According to entertainment insiders, Taylor no longer believes it's realistic to maintain the same relationship with Blake and Ryan's children while reportedly having little or no relationship with their parents. Those reports emphasize that maintaining a close bond with young children becomes extremely difficult when communication with their family has reportedly broken down. From a practical standpoint, it's easy to understand why those challenges would exist. Young children don't usually maintain independent friendships with adults outside their immediate family. Every visit, every holiday gathering, every birthday celebration, and every conversation typically depends on cooperation between parents and the people around them. If that connection changes, the relationship naturally becomes much harder to sustain. Reports suggest that's exactly the situation Taylor may now be facing. Rather than continuing an arrangement that no longer functions in everyday life, sources claim she has quietly stepped back. Importantly, none of these reports have been officially confirmed by Taylor Swift herself, Blake Lively, or Ryan Reynolds, making much of the current discussion dependent on unnamed sources speaking to entertainment media. Meanwhile, another development has added even more attention to the situation. The reported friendship changes arrived during an already turbulent period surrounding the legal dispute involving Justin Baldoni and the film It Ends With Us. Taylor Swift unexpectedly became part of that conversation after receiving a subpoena connected to the case. Her representatives responded with an unusually detailed statement. According to Taylor's spokesperson, she never visited the film set, played no role in casting decisions, had no involvement in the movie's creative direction, did not compose music for the project, never reviewed edits, and only watched the finished film weeks after its public release. The statement also highlighted that Taylor spent much of 2023 and 2024 traveling internationally while headlining what it described as the biggest tour in history. The response wasn't emotional or confrontational. Instead, it systematically addressed every major area where people might have assumed Taylor had been involved. The message was straightforward: any suggestion that she played a meaningful role in the film was being firmly rejected. Even with that clarification, receiving a subpoena places anyone in a difficult position. Legal proceedings don't operate according to public perception or celebrity friendships. If someone possesses information considered relevant, the legal process may require testimony or the production of communications regardless of how limited that person's involvement may have been. For someone as private as Taylor Swift has become in recent years, that possibility naturally attracts enormous public attention. Even routine legal procedures can generate headlines, speculation, and endless online debate, especially when one of the world's biggest celebrities is involved. And that's where many observers believe the broader story begins to connect. If reports about the friendship cooling are accurate, and legal issues are unfolding at the same time, maintaining clear personal boundaries may simply become far more important than it once was. But that wasn't the only reported consequence of the alleged falling out. According to several entertainment reports, Blake Lively herself has supposedly experienced noticeable changes in how she's being received within Hollywood's exclusive social circles. Whether those claims reflect reality or simply industry speculation remains difficult to verify, but they're fueling an entirely new conversation about influence, celebrity access, and the power that comes with being connected to one of the biggest names in entertainment. According to those reports, Blake Lively is still appearing at major events and remains one of Hollywood's most recognizable actresses. But some insiders claim the experience isn't quite the same as it once was. They argue that being closely associated with Taylor Swift came with a level of access that extended far beyond ordinary celebrity status, and that losing that connection may have quietly changed Blake's place within some of the industry's most exclusive circles. Those reports describe a noticeable difference in invitations, seating arrangements, private gatherings, and high-profile networking opportunities. None of that has been officially confirmed, and Hollywood operates behind closed doors far more often than people realize. Still, the conversation itself highlights an interesting reality about the entertainment business. Influence isn't measured only by awards or box office numbers. It's also measured by proximity. Taylor Swift has grown into far more than one of the world's biggest recording artists. She's become a cultural force whose influence stretches across music, film, sports, fashion, and business. Simply appearing within her inner circle often attracts enormous media attention, making every public friendship part of a much larger conversation. That doesn't necessarily mean anyone is intentionally excluding Blake Lively. Instead, industry observers often describe Hollywood as a place where access constantly shifts. Event organizers, luxury brands, fashion houses, and major studios naturally pay attention to current relationships and public visibility. As those relationships evolve, invitations and opportunities can evolve with them. Whether those reported changes are significant or merely exaggerated by entertainment media remains impossible to verify from the outside. What is certain is that another major development dramatically increased public interest in the situation. The legal dispute surrounding it ends with us placed unexpected pressure on nearly everyone connected to the story. Once Taylor Swift's name became linked through the subpoena, speculation accelerated almost overnight. Her spokesperson's response appeared carefully constructed to create clear separation from the production. According to that statement, Taylor had no involvement in casting, no creative authority over the film, no participation in editing, no role in composing music, and no meaningful connection to the project's development. The statement also emphasized that she spent the relevant period focused on her international tour schedule rather than the film itself. The wording left very little room for interpretation. Rather than addressing one specific allegation, it answered nearly every question before it could grow into another headline. That approach reflects something audiences have seen repeatedly over the past several years. Taylor's public team rarely engages in prolonged public arguments. Instead, when necessary, they issue highly detailed statements designed to establish clear facts and then allow the story to move forward. Still, legal proceedings have a way of creating uncertainty even when someone insists they had very limited involvement. Subpoenas don't automatically suggest wrongdoing. They simply require participation in a legal process when attorneys believe someone could possess relevant information. For public figures, however, even routine legal procedures can quickly become media events. Every filing generates articles. Every hearing creates speculation. Every reported conversation becomes another topic for social media. That's why some entertainment analysts believe Taylor may have wanted stronger personal boundaries as the legal dispute continued unfolding. It's important to emphasize that this remains analysis rather than confirmed fact, but many observers argue that distancing herself from unnecessary complications would be a logical response under those circumstances. At the same time, reports about the friendship itself remain remarkably inconsistent. Some unnamed sources insist the relationship has ended completely. Others claim the two women remain friendly behind the scenes. Additional reports suggest Blake was absent from Taylor's reported wedding celebration. Another version of the story argues she chose not to attend to avoid generating unwanted publicity. Those accounts obviously cannot all be correct simultaneously. Their contradictions illustrate one of the biggest challenges with celebrity reporting. Much of the information comes from anonymous sources whose motivations, access, and accuracy cannot be independently verified. That uncertainty becomes especially noticeable when conversations turn toward Taylor's reported wedding. Because the event itself has been surrounded by intense privacy, almost every detail has become the subject of speculation. Guest lists, invitations, and attendance have all generated headlines despite very little official confirmation. In situations like this, the absence of reliable information often creates even more rumors. People naturally try to fill in the gaps. Entertainment websites compete for exclusives. Social media users build theories from tiny clues. Before long, speculation begins circulating almost as quickly as confirmed facts. Yet one thing does appear noticeably different compared with previous years. Taylor and Blake are no longer appearing together publicly the way they once did. The highly visible photos. The public celebrations. The social media interactions that once seemed routine have become increasingly rare. Whether that reflects a permanent change or simply a private decision remains unknown. But for longtime followers of Taylor Swift, the pattern feels familiar. One thing is becoming harder to ignore. Whether these reports are completely accurate or not, Taylor Swift's public friendships have followed a remarkably consistent pattern over the years. When someone is part of her inner circle, they're everywhere, appearing in photos, attending private gatherings, joining holiday celebrations, and sharing moments that fans instantly recognize. Then, sometimes without any announcement at all, those appearances simply stop. That's exactly why so many people are paying attention now. There hasn't been a public statement declaring the friendship over. Instead, it's the silence that's fueling the conversation. The Instagram interactions have faded. Joint appearances have become rare. And the Godmother title that was once shared so publicly is now reportedly absent from Taylor's life. History only adds to the speculation. Fans have watched similar situations unfold before, where close friendships quietly disappeared from public view without dramatic explanations. No press conference. No social media feud. Just distance. Of course, silence isn't proof of anything. Private friendships can change for countless reasons, and celebrities aren't obligated to explain every personal decision they make. But when two people whose relationship was once so visible suddenly stop appearing together, people naturally begin asking questions. Perhaps the most overlooked part of this story involves Blake and Ryan's daughters. If Taylor truly has stepped back from the reported godmother role, the children are the only people completely removed from the headlines who could still feel the effects. Any meaningful relationship between a godparent and young children depends heavily on communication with their parents. Without that connection, maintaining the same role becomes increasingly difficult. And that brings us to an even bigger question. Was this friendship simply another victim of overwhelming public attention, or did the legal drama surrounding it ends with us accelerate a split that had already begun behind closed doors? That's where the story takes another unexpected turn. So where does all of this leave the story? Right now, much of what's circulating comes from anonymous sources and entertainment reports, not official statements from Taylor Swift, Blake Lively, or Ryan Reynolds. What is publicly documented is that Taylor once proudly embraced the Godmother title. Her representatives have firmly distanced her from the "it ends with us" legal dispute, and the once highly visible friendship is no longer playing out in public the way it once did. Whether this was caused by legal complications, personal differences, or simply the natural evolution of a friendship is something only the people involved truly know. Until any of them choose to speak publicly, the complete story remains behind closed doors. One thing, however, is undeniable. Celebrity friendships often look perfect from the outside, but the public only sees the moments that are shared. The conversations that matter most, the disagreements, and the reasons relationships change usually stay private. And perhaps that's exactly how it should be. What do you think really happened between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively? Was this friendship already fading before the legal drama, or did outside pressures push it past the breaking point? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more fact-based breakdowns of the biggest celebrity stories, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next investigation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.